My husband has probably told me more things I didn't want to hear than anybody else in my entire life. And honestly, a lot of those conversations made me mad. At the time, I thought he was being too hard on me or he was criticizing me. But now, looking back, I realized something. Some of the biggest blessings in my life came from the conversations I wanted to avoid the most. And if I never met him, I honestly don't think I'd be the woman I am today. I was honestly kind of broken, like not in a dramatic way, but I was always looking for the next thing to make me happy, the next hobby, the next relationship, the next distraction, the next thing that would keep my mind busy long enough that I didn't have to deal with the pain that I was carrying from life and from previous relationships. And I thought money was my way out, like not because my life was terrible, but because I knew it could be better. I thought success was getting a good job, paying your bills, and repeating that cycle for the rest of your life. And when it came to money, I really didn't know much. Like nobody had ever taught me how to manage it for real. I didn't have many responsibilities at the time, and I wasn't thinking years ahead. I was thinking about today and maybe tomorrow. The old version of me would spend money on clothes, like random purchases, things that made me happy in the moment, and I wasn't asking myself if it was a need or a want. I wasn't asking myself if it would help me later. I wasn't thinking about the future. I was just living. When I first met my husband, I honestly didn't even think I was going to like him. Like I avoided him for about 6 months, but looking back now, I truly believe he was heaven sent and I did not even know it yet. What stood out about him wasn't that he was perfect, it was that he was real, painfully real sometimes. Like he would tell the truth whether it hurt your feelings or not, but at the same time he had the sweetest heart, and that's a rare combination if you ask me. He cared enough to tell me the truth. Like most people would tell you what you want to hear, but he still always tells you what you need to hear. At first it wasn't always easy for me, especially because we was young. Like I was 19 and he was 22, and he had already experienced more life than I had at that point. One thing that caused a lot of disagreements early on was that he would constantly listen to these podcasts and stuff about relationships, personal growth, and how men and women think differently, and at the time I completely hated it. I feel like I wasn't measuring up to what he wanted me to be, or he was trying to tell me that I was wrong all the time, and honestly sometimes it hurt my feelings. But years later now I understand he wasn't trying to tear me down. He just saw more in me than I saw in myself. He saw potential that I hadn't stepped into yet, if that makes sense. Some of the conversations that changed me the most were the ones where he taught me how the world actually works, because I lived in la la land all the time and I expected everything to work out perfectly. I expected people to have good intentions all the time. I expected my ideas and everything around me to just magically succeed because it sounded good. Like I wanted my life to be a Cinderella story, and he taught me that while faith is important, wisdom matters too, and you have to think ahead, you have to prepare, and you have to also consider worst case scenarios. Over time, my thinking started to change. Now, when I make decisions, I don't just think about the best case scenario, I also think about worst case scenario. And when it comes to money, I don't just see it as something to spend, I see it as a tool that can either build your future or hold you back. My goals haven't changed much, but now I approach these goals with more wisdom and more patience. I make a plan, I stick to it as best as I can, and I trust God with the rest. If my husband had never came into my life, I think I'd still be trying to figure out who I was. I'd probably still be working a job that I hated, still searching for the next thing, but instead, he literally challenged me to grow. And in that, one of the biggest things that I've learned is that being a good spouse means being the person your spouse needs you to be, not just who you want to be. Of course, honesty matters, because once trust starts to crack, your entire foundation of that relationship starts to go down with it. And people need somebody to tell them the truth. Like, not because the truth always feels good, but because the truth is what helps you grow. And let me tell you, real love is messy, it's hard. Most days it don't feel like your Cinderella story, but real love is choosing each other every day. It's sacrificing for each other. It's showing up when it's inconvenient. It's growing together, adapting together, waking up and choosing the same person over and over again. So we've been together since I was 19, he was 22. Today we're 24 and 27. We've grown up together, we've matured together, and what we're building is bigger than just us. We're trying to build a marriage where people can look at us and say, yep, God brought them together. Where our future children understand what healthy looks like. Like whenever they start dating, I want my little girl to be like, my daddy don't treat my mama like that. That's not right. And I want to be able to tell our grandkids a million different stories about how we built our life together. I always give my husband props when I can, because I'm so grateful that God brought us together, because he has poured into me in a way that nobody else ever has. He has taught me so many lessons that have like changed my life so quickly, and I always try my best to do the same for him. And as we get ready to become parents for the very first time, I know that we are about to learn a whole new set of lessons, and I'm sure there will be things that will challenge us, that'll stretch us and force us to grow all over again. So if you want to follow along as we build our family, figure this parenting thing out, and continue building the life that we've always dreamed about, make sure that you subscribe, because trust me, I have a feeling the best stories are still ahead of us.